If you've read a fair amount of the Cosmere by Brandon Sanderson, you may have picked up that some characters appear in more than one of these books, despite the two books being set in completely different worlds. When I first noticed this, back when I was woefully unaware of the Cosmere and its larger workings, I thought Brandon Sanderson may have made a mistake or just included an Easter egg. But then it happened again, and I realized that something more was at work here. If you're like I was, then you may not have realized that the Cosmere is a connected, shared universe for his stories, and that there are individuals and organizations within the Cosmere that can travel between worlds. These people and organizations are called Worldhoppers, and a lot of them are widely unknown to us as readers. So in today's Cosmere 101 video, I'd like to briefly discuss the different Worldhoppers in Brandon Sanderson's works and give some insight into these mysterious people and organizations. Silverlight. Silverlight is not necessarily an organization, but rather is a city within the cognitive realm full of notable Worldhoppers. The exact location of the city is unknown, but there are multiple universities associated with it. In all likelihood, Silverlight serves as a meeting place for all Worldhoppers and realmatically aware experts. One of the notable organizations that uses the city as a meeting place would be the 17th Shard, which we'll get to shortly. The primary individual we meet from Silverlight is Chris. Chris is probably the most knowledgeable person on all things Cosmere related. She's a very well-educated scholar and helped found one of the universities in the city. She's also the one responsible for writing the Ars Arcanum at the end of each Cosmere book. The Irie. The Irie is a group of Worldhopper Elantrians from Cell who are all very Cosmere aware. They have a fortress somewhere in the cognitive realm that they somehow power through the door from Elantris via a conduit. The exact goals of the Irie are unknown, though they seem to have ties to the city of Silverlight in some capacity. They have many powerful artifacts and know about things like fortune, connection, and adonalsium. In fact, they are so knowledgeable that even Chris thinks they know more than most in Silverlight. They are quite isolationist and have declined several requests for collaboration by Chris. Their goals are very mysterious and their knowledge heavily guarded. I have a feeling that we'll see quite a bit more of them as the story of the Cosmere progresses. The Ghostbloods. I did a dedicated video on the Ghostbloods last week, and I highly recommend you check it out if you want more information. Essentially, the Ghostbloods are a primarily Rosharan organization, though they are not Rosharan in origin. They are very secretive and are led by a mysterious man named Thydakar. Their exact goals are currently unknown, but by looking at their actions we can infer that their primary goal is, in essence, to obtain power. They seem to be a ruthless organization of hunters with a strict hierarchy. Most of our knowledge of them comes from the Stormlight Archive novels. I won't go into too much further details for fear of spoilers, but I recommend the video I did last week if you want more detail than that. The 17th Shard. The 17th Shard is a Worldhopper organization that is just as mysterious as the Irie. Though they have a wide reach and interests in the wider Cosmere, they have a strict non-intervention philosophy. They believe in merely observing and not influencing the course of events of the Cosmere. They do, however, take a special interest in Hoid as they disagree with how much he involves himself within the events of multiple Cosmere worlds. They do seem to have goals beyond chasing down Hoid, but these goals are, as of now, still unknown. The official fan website of Brandon Sanderson is also named the 17th Shard after this in-world organization. Individual Worldhoppers. Just as there are Worldhopper organizations within the Cosmere, there are also individual Worldhoppers that do not seem to be associated with any specific organizations. There are only a handful of them that we know of, and I would like to briefly touch on them here. The first individual would be Hoid himself. He is very independent and not associated with any organization as far as we know. Hoid is the most prominent Worldhopper in the whole Cosmere and is one of the most mysterious and powerful beings we know of. I did a whole video on who exactly Hoid is as far as we currently know, and I recommend giving it a watch if you're interested. The next two individuals would be Vasher and Vivenna from the Warbreaker novel. While we only know of them traveling to one world after the events of their respective novel, we do not know exactly what their goals are on this world. All we know is that each of them seems to have a specific goal, though I doubt they both share the same one. There is another Worldhopper named Felt that comes from Scadrial. He's more obscure than the others I've mentioned, and his motives are quite unknown. We don't know much about his Cosmere activities after the events of the first Mistborn trilogy, but we are aware that he appears on Roshar as well. He has been a member of multiple Worldhopper organizations in the past, often switching allegiances. As of right now, however, he does not seem to be associated with one. Finally, we also know that the 5 scholars of Nalthis were Worldhoppers at one stage as well. Only 2 of the 5 scholars are still alive, and while we know of Vasher, we have no idea where Yestiel is or what his involvement is with the Cosmere, if any. There are indications that the Warbreaker sequel will deal directly with Yestiel in some capacity, so perhaps we'll get more information there. But that's about it for today's video, guys. It's pretty short, but that was primarily due to the lack of available information or due to avoiding spoilers. I hope you enjoyed the video and that you'd consider subscribing if you did. Thank you very much for watching. My name has been Raven, and I will see you next time. Take care, everybody.